Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Learn English with Sherry. I hope that you are having a great day. And if you could, please just let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. I would love to know if you can hear me and if you can see me. I see that we have 2 people here at the lesson. Thanks for coming. And let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. I hope that you've had a great day. If you are in a time zone where it is the end of your day and it's Wednesday evening. Hello, Natalie. Thanks for coming 2 nights in a row. Last night I was giving purple stars, so I'm not sure what I should give tonight. Maybe I could give a gold star? Thanks for coming 2 nights in a row. That is being a very dutiful student, very responsible. So let me know, Natalie, how your day is going. Did you teach classes today? Let me know. I did. I had some students. I had actually quite a few students showed up today. So I was happy to see that because I'm teaching remotely during the day, and sometimes my students do not always come to class. All right, so I'm really excited about tonight's lesson because tonight is about one of the things that I enjoy the most, and that is sports. Tonight's lesson, we're going to talk about idioms, which are so fun to discuss because it can really enhance your communication skills. By using idioms, you are then able to show that you have a command of the English language that is nearing that of a native speaker. So let me know if you can share with me what sports you like to play, or maybe what sports you like to watch. I'll see if anyone else hops on here at the chat. We'll give it a minute or so. You have my residence class. Okay, if you could share with me what a residence class means, that would be great. I would appreciate it because I'm not sure what a residence class means. I am a speech therapist, so I was teaching my speech therapy students this morning and this afternoon. And then early morning, I was teaching my students in China. And now I get to spend part of my evening with you in this live lesson. All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started. If you are watching the playback of this, thank you for spending the time to do that. And you can still participate by leaving comments below when I ask questions about the lesson or when I make suggestions to you. You can make those comments below and I will reply to those comments. Thanks again. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you can get those notifications of when I do go live. And my schedule is going to be listed below as well. All right, so Natalie, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks again for coming, and I hope others will log on as we move on. Let's get going. So we will begin with the definition of idiom. The definition of idiom, according to Oxford English Dictionary, is that it is a group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words. So that is what can make idioms a bit challenging. The literal meaning is not what is being intended by the speaker. Okay. All right, Natalie, thanks for sharing with me. You are completing your student teaching. That's how we refer to it in America. So now I understand you are learning how to be a teacher in the subject of physics. Okay, I hope your teaching is going well and you are learning a lot about how to best help your students. So again, the definition of idiom, it would be a group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words. So let's talk a little bit about why we would want to use idioms. So why should we use idioms? Why do you think? I'm curious to know. What do you think? Andres, welcome. Hello. And you're present. Andres, I hope you're having a great Wednesday. And I would like to hear from the students here tonight why you think we should use idioms when we are having conversation maybe with our friends or possibly with our coworkers. What would be reasons why we would use idioms? Type in the chat box and we can have a discussion about why you think we should use idioms, and then I can give you my perspective as well. So let's think. What do you think about idioms? Why should we use them? And I will give you my perspective as a native speaker. Hello, Madi. Welcome. It's great to see you here. If you could let me know what time it is where you are, and that way I can get an idea of if you are on Thursday or if you are still experiencing Wednesday, and I can get to know you better as a student. So, Natalie, metaphor, yes, using a metaphor is a great way to add some spice to your language. And metaphor is spelled METAPHOR. You do not need to have an E on the end of that word. Andres says maybe. You think maybe we should use idioms? We're going to find out some specific idioms related to sports that you may find interesting. Oh my goodness, 4 a.m. Occasionally I have to wake up that early to teach, but I don't wake up that often. I do not wake up that early very often. That is very early. I hope that you did not get up at 4 a.m. just for this lesson, but if you did, I'm going to say thank you very much. That's sign language for thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so are you guys ready? Let's take a look at some of the some of the idioms that we can use that are related to sports. So when is a good time to use idioms? So like I mentioned, idioms are great because they add flavor to our conversation, and idioms are more likely to allow our listener to be able to create a mental picture as you, the speaker, share a story. I find idioms to be a great way to make the conversation more interesting. Like I mentioned, it adds some spice or possibly some flavor to the conversation that would not be there if you did not use an idiom or several idioms. Other reasons why you may want to use an idiom in a conversation is because idioms do help us express many things with just a few words. So if you think of it, an idiom can really convey a concept, a full message with just a few words. So I am excited to be able to look at some of these idioms with you and see what you have to think. But first, I want to share with you a couple of things about sports. I mentioned that I enjoy sports, and that's why I was so excited to do this lesson. One of the reasons why I enjoy sports is because I was an athlete and I enjoyed playing volleyball and basketball, and I also was a runner. Volleyball is my favorite sport, still is. My children enjoy different sports, and here I have a photo to share with you of my daughter, Callie. She is just now entering high school. She's 14, and she will be 15 very soon in November. Here is a photo of Callie. She plays softball, and she also plays volleyball. Softball is a sport that she truly loves. She is a catcher for her softball teams that she has played on over the years. And here is a picture of her. She hit her first home run. And that's one of the idioms that we're going to talk about today. is the saying, I hit a home run, or I hit it out of the ballpark. We'll take a look at that in a moment. She hit a grand slam. So if you were to use the idiom, I hit a grand slam home run, that is like the best of the best. Your performance at whatever you're discussing was the best ever. A grand slam is the term that's used in the sport of baseball when there are 3 runners on the bases. The term is bases are loaded. Each base, first, second, and third base, has a runner on the base, and the batter hits a home run, effectively scoring 4 runs with 1 swing of the bat. So here is a photo of my daughter Callie hitting a grand slam. And the story with this photo goes, that day she asked me if I would buy her some Apple earpods, the earbuds, the wireless earbuds. And I said, sure, because she'd never hit a home run before. She hadn't even really come close. That day, that same day, she hit a grand slam. So I do love sports. And yes, Maddie, if you are a pitcher, you probably don't like the home run because it can crush your team's ability to be effective at the game. So let's continue with our lesson about idioms. So here's another reason why we should use idioms. When they are used correctly, idioms are just plain cool. They're really cool to use. Native speakers do use idioms frequently, and sometimes I find some of my students or some of my friends who are non-native speakers do get a little frustrated with the degree of idioms that are used at times. But if you are wanting to acquire the ability to speak English like a native speaker or as near to a native speaker as possible, idioms are something that you are going to want to be able to utilize in your language. Let's talk about how there are different types of idioms. So today's lesson is about sports and how there are several different idioms that are related to different sports that are used every day in the English language. I'm going to be talking specifically about idioms that are used primarily in America, since that is where I am from, and I have become very acquainted with these idioms as I've lived here my entire life. As I've also traveled a bit, but this is where I've spent the majority of my life. Idioms are specific to where you live, so there may be idioms that are used in Britain that would be as foreign to me, even though they are used in English, as they would be to you who may be a non-native speaker. Idioms are often historical in nature. There's a historical relevance to the idiom, but sometimes you cannot determine where an idiom originated, like who coined that idiom's phrase the first time. But some of the idioms can actually be traced back to one particular person who used that idiom. So today, as I mentioned, we are going to focus on idioms that are related to sports. We will watch a few videos that will show the literal meaning of some of these phrases, and then we will talk about the idiom and what it means. So again, guys, type in the chat box what sports you like to play, or if you don't play sports, what sports you like to watch. Also, if maybe you're a coach of different sports, you can share that as well. So let's begin with baseball. Baseball is often referred to as America's favorite pastime. It is called this because baseball is a sport that is very popular in America, and so for that reason, calling it America's favorite pastime is an appropriate phrase. let's take a look at some baseball clips. We're going to watch a video of what it means to strike out in baseball. I want everyone to be clear on what the literal meanings are so that you're able to then look at how we can use an idiom and apply it to a variety of situations. So we're going to look at a video of some Major League Baseball players striking out and see what that looks like. Let's take a look at these hitters striking out.
That's the 0-2. He struck him out, inning over. The 3-2. Got it with it. Dropped the changeup in there. What a finish. Big pitch for DeGrom. Got him. High fastball against Christian Yelich for the second time.
So if you are a pitcher, striking someone out can probably be one of the best feelings of your life. And like I mentioned, I'm not a pitcher. I don't really play softball, but I imagine the feeling of striking a batter out can be an amazing one. So now that we've seen what it looks like for a Major League Baseball player to strike out at the plate, let's take a look at the idiom, I struck out. Now we can use this phrase in a variety of situations. It can apply to a variety of things. But why don't you share what you think the meaning is in the chat box? Madi, thank you for telling me that you like swimming. Swimming is a great sport. It is very healthy to do. It is a sport that is easy on your joints of your body because you are not running or jumping and your joints aren't having that pressure. And it's also a great cardiovascular workout. So what do you think? What does the phrase I struck out mean? Share in the chat box. So let me give you an example. A common way that you could use this phrase is if you were talking to a friend and you wanted to ask someone out for a date. And you asked the other person out for a date and they said, no, thank you. Then your friend says, hey, how did it go when you asked her out for a date? And you could say, I struck out. There are other ways of using this phrase, though. I'd like to see what you guys think. How would you use the phrase, I struck out? And how does it relate to the literal meaning of the Major League Baseball players striking out at the plate? I am ready to award a gold star to someone who gives a sentence using this example. I know you want one. Let me know what you think. I struck out. Striking out is one of the worst things you can do as a baseball player or softball player. I know when my son comes home from his baseball games and if he has struck out, he gets pretty upset with himself because it's not a great feeling. I struck out. I asked somebody out for a date. They said no. So I told my friend, no, I struck out. All right, guys, there seems to be a delay in the live. So I'll give it another moment to see if anyone has any thoughts or suggestions on how you could use this phrase, and then we'll keep going. Maybe I should get Chica. Maybe she could come and lighten up the group. Hi is a bad mood. Bad mood. Maddie, I'm sorry. I don't quite understand what you're saying. Oh, you struck out? Saying if you're in a bad mood, I struck out. I think that if you were to use the phrase I struck out, it would mean that it would maybe make you feel in a bad mood if you asked somebody out on a date and they said no. But there are other ways that you can use this phrase as well. Maybe if you are going for a job interview and you did not get the job, and your parents said, "Hey, how did the job interview go?" You could say, "I struck out." That would be another way of using this phrase. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let's see. Natalie says, you're not feeling well. Okay, yes, if you say, "I struck out," means that you failed at something. You did not perform well. So if you are not feeling well, maybe you could say, "I struck out when I went to the doctor," because maybe you got diagnosed with something that wasn't good. You weren't feeling well. You went to the doctor. Someone said, "Hey, what'd the doctor say?" "I struck out." That would be a way of saying things didn't go well at the doctor. All right, so let's continue. Here is another saying, "Life threw me a curveball." Life threw me a curveball. So now I'm going to show you a video of an actual curveball so you can see what a curveball looks like in the sport of baseball. Here we go. Curveballs are pretty difficult pitches to hit. So a curveball literally curves in a different direction. So you think the ball is going to be in one position, you swing the bat, and the ball goes in a different position. Yikes. That is tough. All right, so let's see how we could maybe use this sentence in a conversation to help our message become more interesting to our listener. Life threw me a curveball. Okay, guys, go ahead and let me know. Type an example in the chat box of what you could use this for. Yes, Monica. Hello, Monica. You get a gold star. Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Monica. The circumstances changed. Something happened in your life that changed things, and so you had to go in a different direction. Sometimes a curveball can be a major thing. Sometimes it can be something that is minor, but it still impacts your day. So an example of using this idiom would be having a conversation, again, with someone else, and they said, "How's the year 2020 been for you?" I think an accurate description of the year 2020 for me and for many of you would be to say, "Life threw me a curveball." That is an example of how you could use that idiom in a conversation. So circumstances have changed, or you were expecting things to go one way and they went another, which, as you know, always happen, right? Have you guys had any experiences today where life threw you a curveball? Let me know in the chat box. I'd love to hear about it. Life threw me a curveball today. I had a meeting at my school, and I learned that we are going to possibly move from having all of our students learn online to maybe moving to the students coming to school a few days a week and also teaching them online the other days. So that was a bit of a curveball because I wasn't expecting to start teaching my students in person. All right, so let's talk about another idiom that is related to the sport of baseball. You hit it out of the ballpark. Now, I mentioned this before in my description of Callie hitting the grand slam home run. Using this idiom, you hit it out of the park, is a great idiom to use when you are trying to share with someone else that you did something that was spectacular. So if you want to share with me an example of how you can use this idiom in your daily life, that would be fantastic. I'd love to hear about it. I am thinking of the videos that we're going to watch next of softball players hitting a home run. Let's take a look at some videos of softball players hitting a home run. They are hitting it out of the ballpark. Here we go. This is from the College World Series, which is a tournament where only the top teams in the United States can go and play to determine the best team in the United States at the collegiate level.
Showed 18 home runs this year, 23 total in 3 seasons at A&M.
Chow lifts one out to deep right center, and it's gone! What a debut for Chow and the Cowgirls, the home run off of Barnhill.
So besides saying that you hit a home run, you could also say, I hit it out of the ballpark. This is a way of sharing with someone that you had a performance that went extremely well. So if my friend Monica calls me and says, hey, how did that big presentation go that you had today at work? And if the presentation went very well, I could say, I hit it out of the ballpark. That is a great idiom that you can use to describe when you have had a big event and you performed extremely well. Andres, yes, I think sports can be a great way to enhance your life. I know not everyone enjoys sports. I enjoy other things too. I enjoy reading books, but I love the sense of accomplishment that a person can have either when you are on a team that works together to enjoy an activity, or whether it is in an individual sport where you are working to enhance yourself. Maybe you're working to improve your health, or possibly you are wanting to be a professional athlete. It just shows a lot about the human spirit. I feel that athletics really just gives the human spirit the ability to soar and do amazing things. And when I say soar, I mean the word S-O-A-R, soar, which is to fly high, to soar. All right, so let's keep going and talk about some other idioms that are related to sports. Here is another one that is often used, particularly in the workplace. So if you are chatting with a fellow coworker, you could say, let's touch base on Monday. So what does it mean to touch base on Monday? In the sport of baseball, when you run the bases, you have to touch each base as you go by in order to score a run when you get to home plate. If you do not touch a base, you do not score the run and you are out. Good afternoon, Javier. It's great to see you. Thanks, Madi. It's always awesome I enjoy meeting new students. So thank you for inviting some new students. Review something. Yes, Monica, that's correct. Touching base. Let's touch base on Monday. You're having a meeting with a coworker on a Friday afternoon, and you say, let's touch base on Monday about this issue. So you are going to get back together either in person or maybe just via email or phone or text messages, and you're going to review the situation. Let's touch base on Monday. Again, this is often used in the business world, but you can always use it in everyday communication as well. Let's touch base on this lesson tomorrow. Let me know what you think. Okay, now we are going to move into another arena, which is another way that you can use a word that is related to sports. We're going to move into another arena, which is the sport of boxing, or MMA, which is also known as mixed martial arts. So I am looking forward to sharing some of these idioms with you, and I'm looking at Andres if he is still here, because he does enjoy MMA and he has his own YouTube channel that talks about MMA and shares interviews there. We're going to watch a video clip about an idiom that's related to boxing and MMA. So let's take a look at this video. I hope you enjoy it. It does a great way of showing how this idiom can be used in everyday conversation. Here we go.
How he got so famous so fast without a real kind of gut check like he just had. And, you know, not to bag on him or anything, but just that was kind of a gut check, and he kind of failed, and he's lost a lot of his.
Right. You don't have to back.
So, as he was saying, it was a gut check. He was talking about a specific fighter, and it said he had a gut check. So, here is the idiom. He needs a gut check. Okay, so does it mean that I actually need to look at my gut and see if there's something wrong with it? I need to check my gut. Gut is your stomach. No, that's not what it means. But what does it mean? I am looking for you guys to share with me what you think based on the video and what your knowledge of this idiom is. What do you think it means? He needs a gut check. Or, of course, in the clip, it talked about he got a gut check in the fight. Let me know what you guys think in the chat box. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this idiom that was used in an interview, but could be used in everyday conversation as well. Let me know what you think. Andres, if you're still here, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this idiom. Also, if you guys have any questions about any other idioms, feel free to place those in the chat box. If you've heard an idiom and you're not sure what it means, feel free to ask here and we can get that answered for you. Javier, how is your day going? I hope it's going well. Javier, let me know if it is. You said it's good afternoon, so it must be Thursday for you in the afternoon. Let me know if it's Thursday afternoon. If so, you're getting very close to the weekend, and that is a great thing. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about what I would describe the idiom meaning for he needs a gut check. So I would use this idiom if I were talking about a person that is experiencing something difficult in their life and they are expecting that they were going to perform very well and they didn't. So for example, if I were to talk about she didn't study for her test and she did not exercise to prepare for her match. So when it got time for her contest, for her sport, she needed a gut check. What it means in this instance is she didn't prepare for her sporting event and then she did not perform well. She didn't prepare. She didn't perform well. She needed a gut check. So when you say someone has guts, that means that they have a lot of determination and they have a lot of willpower to fight through difficult things. She's got guts. I enjoy meeting students who have guts because they are going to persevere in whatever it is that they are working to accomplish. Persevere means they are going to accomplish what it is that they've set out to do. She's gutsy. Gutsy is another term that you could use to describe someone who's fierce and they're not going to give up. All right, so let's continue with the lesson and see what other idioms we have that are related to boxing and MMA. Here we have, I don't need the blow by blow. I don't need the blow by blow. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm seeing here on YouTube that my picture's showing, but I'm not seeing much in the chat box. So let me know if you can hear me, and also let me know if you have any questions about idioms and what these idioms mean. I don't need the blow by blow. So how this idiom would be used is, let's say you're speaking to someone and they are telling you a story. They said, oh, this story won't take long. And you're looking at your watch. 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, the story is still not over. They're still telling you the story of something that happened to them. So something that you could say, and my father actually says this idiom all the time when someone's trying to tell a story and they are long-winded, which means they are talking and talking and talking. My dad will say, I don't need the blow by blow. That's hard to say. Blow by blow. That means I don't need every little detail. And why is this related to boxing? Well, a blow can be considered a hit. You're getting hit, a blow. And the announcers or commentators who talk about the event, whether it be a boxing match or whether it be an MMA event, they will say what happens as it's happening. They'll give all the details of the match as it's happening, so that if people are just listening on the radio, they can understand what's happening in the match, or if someone's watching it but they are not able to maybe see all of it, they can hear the commentators because they give the details, the blow by blow. Okay, like, yes, Monica, you're right. Get to the point. I don't need to hear all the details. I just want the main idea. What happened? The blow by blow. I do not need the blow by blow. Javier, yes, it is Wednesday. Okay, so Javier, you are the same time that I am. Okay, here is our next idiom. She's down for the count. She's down for the count. So for this idiom, I'm going to share with you another video that shows some pretty interesting matches and what happens when someone is down for the count. So there we have it. Someone is down for the count. They have been knocked out That is the literal meaning of down for the count. The reason why they say down for the count is because the referee will count 1, 2, 3. They will count to determine if the person who has fallen to the ground, if they are no longer capable of fighting, they'll say they're down for the count. The referee has counted and they're down. Andres, yes, the pandemic has thrown us all a curveball. You are very accurate. That is a great way to use that idiom. So, a great way that I think you could use this idiom in everyday life is if you walk in the room and you see that there is a young child who is sound asleep. I often encountered my own children when they were younger. Sometimes they fall asleep in the funniest places and in the weirdest positions. And you think, how can they sleep like that? I could never sleep like that. And you could say, she's down for the count. It means that she is sound asleep. She is knocked out. She is not going to wake up unless someone is really loud and has to physically wake them up. Okay, so Monica, yes, if you say, I'm down for the count, that means that you are really, really tired. It's best to use it as if someone's already asleep and you're saying they're down for the count, they're sound asleep. But you could use it when you are very tired. You could say, I'm down for the count, meaning I am exhausted. Thanks, Monica. Thanks for sharing that with us. That was great as well. All right, so here is our next idiom, and this is the idiom, he came out swinging. He came out swinging. Now, you could think maybe this is related to baseball, but no. This is an idiom that is more related to boxing or MMA. So let's take a look at another video that shows seriously what happens in a boxing match or an MMA event. When it starts, they blow the whistle, and then boom, crazy things happen. Let's take a look.
Wow, looks like they're going to swing to the very end. And he wasn't kidding. Wow. It's very rare. What a finish. So you see the dreamer like that with a point.
So if you look again at the beginning.
Multiple occasions. Wow, looks like they're going to swing to the very end.
So if you looked there at the beginning, the fight started and immediately they came out swinging. They were just really going at it. They came out swinging. So what do you think it would mean if you used this as an idiom and you said, he came out swinging? How would you be able to use this in a conversation? And what would it mean? He came out swinging. I've used this idiom before. It's a great way to describe what a person is doing when they are ready to go. When they are ready to complete a task. And they are aggressive at doing so. Aggressive means they are going for it. Full speed. Nothing's going to stop them. He came out swinging. So, Madi, yes, literally it means fighting. But if you were to say that, let's say that you have a person who is preparing for a big test, and they were studying really hard, and then they arrived at the test, and they were just able to write it all out, and they were able to answer all the questions out loud in the oral exam, which would be when an instructor or a teacher would ask questions, and then you would have to respond verbally. You could say, oh, he came out swinging. He was ready to go. He aggressively went for whatever the task was that he wanted to do. Oh, Monica. I think I want to meet your boss someday, Monica. Yes, my boss came out swinging since the beginning of the day. That is a great way of saying, hey, he was expecting a lot. He was aggressive. He came right out and said, we're going to do this. That is a great way to use that idiom. A much better description than what I had. So fantastic. Monica, would you like to teach the rest of the class? Because that was amazing. And again, a gold star. Great job. And actually, that's an idiom as well. So and it's a sarcastic way of using an idiom. If someone does something well and you want to be sarcastic about it, you can say, well, you get a gold star, which means, hey, you're wanting recognition for doing something well, and I really don't want to recognize that you're doing it, but I'm going to say you get a gold star. It's sarcasm. So let's continue. Okay, guys, we are at the end of our lesson, but I want to finish first with you sharing some sports idioms that you like to use, or maybe possibly not related to sports. Are there other idioms that you like to use? Please share in the chat so we may discuss. This will help the other students maybe learn a new idiom they can use and amaze their friends with. Or if someone's watching the playback, they can see the idioms as well to use in their day. So an idiom that I used today would be, trying to think. I use them all the time. I would say not related to sports, but, okay, Madi says the one on the tip of my tongue. Yes, that's good. That's a great idiom. So Andres, what one do you like to use? Let me know. Once in a blue moon. That's a good one. Yes. I go to the gym once in a blue moon, which is the truth. I used to go to the gym all the time. And of course, with COVID, it's not a good idea to go to the gym, but I'd stopped going to the gym prior to that. Life happens sometimes. Life happens. Any other idioms that you can think of? I just thought of one. I'm loaded for bear. I'm loaded for bear. So the idiom, I'm loaded for bear, refers to, this is not a very common one, but it's something that you would hear maybe more in rural areas or areas where people enjoy hunting. I'm loaded for bear means that loaded as in loaded gun. And what type of ammunition would you need to be able to shoot a bear? You would need big bullets, right? Because bears are huge animals. So if you say, I'm loaded for bear, that means you are over prepared. You're ready to go. You are going to take names, which is another idiom that you're going to kick some butt, basically, is what it means. You're going to kick some butt. You're loaded for bear. You're ready to go to war. You're going to accomplish some great things. So fighters dream about having a gut check one day to potential their professional careers. Okay, so yes. So Andres is saying that having a gut check, it can be a really good thing for a professional fighter because it can give you the opportunity to perform on a big stage. You may not perform as well as you would like, but then it's going to push you to perform better. It's going to push you to work hard and get to the next level. Barking up the wrong tree. Hello, Luis. It's great to see you here. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if my children were to go up to their dad and say, "Hey, Dad, can I have some money?" He would say, "You're barking up the wrong tree," which means, don't come to me asking for money. You need to go ask your mom. Madi, a blessing in disguise is the best one. That is a great way of thinking of things, trying to find a blessing in disguise, because sometimes terrible things happen, but at the time we think it's a really bad thing, but sometimes it's the best thing that can happen. Great job, guys. Thank you so much for sharing all of these. So we're going to wrap things up here. I hope that you've learned a few idioms tonight that are related to sports that you can use in a general manner in regular conversation. And you can amaze your friends when you are maybe out at a cafe or maybe having a drink at a pub or a bar. You can amaze them by using one of these idioms. Let me know what you thought of the lesson. Using videos to help understand what we're trying to learn is a new concept that I haven't done in a live lesson before. So let me know if you thought that those were helpful or not. And I hope that you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you so much for coming. I will also have my live streaming lesson on the YouTube channel Learn English Live every Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, depending on your time zone. Thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the Learn English Live channel, and also check out my Instagram page for occasional lives there. And also, I like to post some homework exercises. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, you can learn English. Keep working. Be patient. And you can do it. Thanks so much. Goodbye. See you, hopefully, very soon. Thank you.